Good afternoon. Appreciate everybody on. Again, just proud of our football team. Um, can't speak enough about just the amount of fight that they have in themselves, the way they believe in each other. Guys stepping up at big times and making big plays. And it's kind of across the board. I mean, it's a different guy here and there, and they just continue to keep answering the bell. So, from that standpoint, can't be more proud of them. We got to continue to keep getting better. We still got a lot of good football left in us. I don't think we've played our best football yet, but we're finding ways to win, and that's the most important thing at this stage. So, excited about getting back on the practice field with them. Get an opportunity to continue to get better, correct some things, and continue to keep moving forward. Obviously, our opponent this week being the University of Houston, very, very talented group, especially offensively. Got a ton of weapons, a ton of speed. It's going to be a great test for us defensively. They're running the football well. Tune is playing extremely well. I mean, throwing the ball very accurately. You can't forget about him as a runner. He's a much better runner than what I think a lot of people give him credit for. But he's got a ton of weapons around him. And, obviously Coach Holgerson does a really great job just schematically getting guys in spots and getting people in a position where they can go make plays. As you look at them defensively, I mean, they played a ton of people so far this week or this year. They are running to the football. You talk about what they're doing up front. They've got two extremely good defensive ends. Their linebackers are playing downhill and playing very aggressively. Just as a defense, I think they play very aggressively. So it's going to be a great test for us to go on the road, try to get us a big win and get back home.
Questions?
Coach, just what you can say about, we've talked about it over the years that Tulsa has gotten to the brink of it. You've gotten close, and you're just not closing out games, pushing teams to the edge. But this season, it's been the opposite. Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. Coach,
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Okay. If y'all have questions, I'm ready.
Okay. Coach, can you hear my question?
Okay. I've got you now.
Okay. I was just saying, looking at this season as opposed to other seasons, how close you've been in recent history to getting some of these victories, and how a 3-win season or a couple-win season could have easily gone in another direction with a few more minutes. This time around, it looks the opposite. You pushed Oklahoma State, and since then you've gotten victories with everybody you've gone up against. What has been the change, and what can you tell me about closing out and doing what you need to do to turn the tide and make this season look a little bit different than before?
Yeah, I think we're a little bit older team right now. We've got some guys that have really stepped up and are making plays, and that's really the biggest difference. Just guys in those situations, just stepping up and making a play and continuing to drive, whether that's a first down play, a fourth down play, play down in the red zone, just guys continuing to make those type of efforts and then come up on the right side of it. I just think there's a different level of confidence with this team, and a desire to go ahead and find a way to get that done. And that's in all three phases, defensively, offensively, and in special teams. So I think some of it is maturity, some of it is confidence, and just guys putting themselves in a position to go make those plays and making it happen.
What has made you continue to believe through this process when things weren't ending the way that you wanted them to? You saw value in the games that you were playing. You saw things on film that were stacking up. What made you continue to believe that you could get to where you are right now at Tulsa? Obviously, I know there's much more you want to do, but just what made you believe, and what maybe you were seeing in those moments that the win-loss column wasn't showing?
Yeah, I think more than anything, it was just watching our players continue to compete. One of the things that I've been extremely proud of is our guys are going to fight for 60 minutes, and we're gonna really, really work for every second of that. No matter what was going on the scoreboard, our guys continue to battle and continue to believe in each other. We get back on the practice field. Those guys continue to work and, really keep the faith. And when you see that process and you see how close we've been on a lot of different occasions, you see things that maybe some other people don't see. And the amount of work and the way these guys have hung together and continue to push each other, continue to raise their level, I think that's the difference in, somebody on the outside looking at it and somebody, inside really getting to see these guys on a daily basis and seeing them continue to drive and work.
Coach, last one for me. Just what you're thankful for in this holiday season in a year that's been anything but normal.
Yeah, there's so many things to be thankful for, and I'm going to start the way I always start, and family is so vitally important for what we do and how we do it. And so, we've had some different things happen this year, obviously, and we've gone through some different battles, and family is been right there at the forefront of everything we've done, everything that we do. So family would be my number one. And then I'm extremely thankful for our kids and the way they've sacrificed, the way they've been disciplined, the way they continue to stay focused through all the different adversities that we faced this year. I think our team has continued to grow together and really try to be a positive influence on our community, on our university, and across the board. And, our staff, very thankful for them and our administration for allowing us the opportunity to do something that we love.
Thanks, Coach. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Has there been an update on Zach? I might have missed it. Has there been one, or you got anything for us on Zach's status?
Yeah, we're still day to day right now. We'll see what it looks like as we kind of get out there with him.
Can you say, or do you know what the injury is exactly? I heard it was a torso or something like that, I think, on game night.
Yeah, he's just got a torso injury right now, and we'll kind of leave it at that.
Okay. This is my first year covering you guys, and, Houston, Tulsa, you hear it's rivalry. I know the CUSA battles they used to have back in the day. Not to – is it a rivalry? But is it? I mean, would you describe it that way, obviously? And I guess how deep is it? And I guess this matchup in general and the history that it does have, I guess, what are your thoughts on the matchup versus Houston?
Yeah, I would believe that this is a rivalry game. These two teams have played each other. They've got some good and bad history throughout the years. I've actually coached on both sides of it, so I can tell you, even on both sides of it, it is still a rivalry game, and it's one of those good things. I think it's a good thing for college football. These are the games that are fun to play in. All of them are fun to play in, but anytime there's a little heightened sense of what it is and what it's about and what it means to people in our community, what it means to people in their community. So it's always an exciting games. It's one of those, again, that you can kind of throw the records out and, it'll be decided on the field, and it didn't really matter who was hot, who wasn't, who had a great record, who didn't. This game always kind of came down to the wire, and I don't see that to be any different this year.
You got to ask questions you know the answer to sometimes. Corey, in the last game, real quick, last one for me. It was nice to see him come out and have a game. I think it was his first game he led in rushing all year. How did that come about? Was that game plan design? What was going on with him the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, he got a little banged up. And, we just wanted to be smart with him. He has spent – last year especially, spent most of the year just battling injuries after injury. And, at that point, Sham was kind of banged up. He was kind of banged up. But those two and TK were kind of rolling themselves in and out. And, we just felt like, if we could give Corey a couple of weeks and get him back healthy, he was going to be ready to play. The way he ran the other night was just inspiring. You can kind of say a quiet 138 yards, but he was running the way that we know Corey can run. He was physical. He was attacking it. He was playing downhill to it. Just really what we expect out of him, especially when he's healthy. And so obviously, we look back and we think we made the right decision by getting him back healthy. But, he was really, really, really good last night or this past weekend. And some of that just goes to hot hand. I mean, he started off hot and stayed hot.
Coach, about Davis, when he gets pressed into action there late, I mean, you've dealt with quarterbacks your entire career. You look at a kid's eyes sometimes. What did you see when he knew it was going to be his turn? What did you see when you looked at him?
Davis is just a really confident kid. He's confident in his abilities. He's confident in the people around him. He's got great leadership qualities. He's shown that since day one he's been here. He's a guy that, you know, just when you talk to quarterbacks, and especially guys that are backing up and waiting on their turn and doing some things like that and growing and developing, you know, Davis is one of those guys that always prepared himself as if he was the starter that week, you know, whether that was watching extra tape, whether that was getting more reps on the field, whether that was what he's doing from a note standpoint and writing everything down and asking good questions and all of those things that you would want him to do. But at times, especially as a younger guy and the season is progressing, you kind of lose that focus a little bit. And Davis has not done that. Davis has been a guy that has stayed relentless on his pursuit to get better, preparing himself every week. And obviously it showed up the other night. So when it was his turn to go in, he was locked in, he was ready, and he was confident.
More on Davis, Coach. The ball gets out of his hand really quickly, which would probably speak to what you were talking about, taking notes, and he knows, you know, where he should be going with it. To all the little things, even like how much practice on a Hail Mary would a third-string quarterback get, you know, and to be able to execute that, roll to the right spot, it just everything he did. Just how crazy is it that a third-string kid could come in and have that kind of performance? I mean, I guess you're not surprised by him, but all things considered, that's just astounding.
Yeah, I mean, it really was inspiring to watch him work. You know, I don't see him as a third-string quarterback. You know, we feel like obviously from the start of the season, I've really described those guys as Zach's our starter, and we have two backups with Seth and with Davis. And those two guys really, in our opinion, were on equal footing. And so I don't think Davis looks at himself as a third-string quarterback. You know, he's a guy waiting on his opportunity and got an opportunity to go in and prove what he can do, and obviously answered the bell on that. So, you know, has he had reps at the Hail Mary? No, you know, but I can promise you he's a guy that really prepares himself, does a great job of executing when he gets the opportunity. If you look back at all the times we've talked about our quarterbacks, you know, we've described Davis as a very intelligent, very competitive, and probably has the quickest release of all of our quarterbacks in the room. And so all of those things kind of showed themselves the other night.
Jim Rome does a whole segment on you. You know, you're at the very top of Scott Van Pelt's show. Zaven's winning every award there is to win. You know, the last 3 years, the kids worked hard. You would come in every Tuesday and talk about how you were at least heartened by how much the kids would work hard and compete, but, you know, they weren't getting that reward at the end of it. We're still in the middle of this thing. You have a lot of important games to go. How do you balance letting them enjoy this, because this has been so hard-earned, with, you know, doing all the things you got to do to try and stay sharp and, you know, respect your next opponent and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, you know, I think our guys understand. I mean, we've been through some stuff, and I'm really, really happy about the recognition that they are getting, you know, and they deserve every bit of it. And I do want them to enjoy that. But we also want to understand it can turn in a hurry. It can change in a hurry. And we have to stay hungry, and we have to stay humble about what we want and what we're pursuing, and stay driven towards that, because if you don't keep winning, it goes away. You've done a great job of putting yourself in the driver's seat, but that being said, it can change in a blink of an eye. So I think our guys and our leadership on our football team, they've done a really good job of continuing to stay driven towards what they want, stay hungry about it, and still going out and getting good quality work in every week and preparing ourselves to go play.
Philip, we've talked a lot about what Davis did, but, you know, what about your receivers who made some really big plays, especially after Keelan left the game?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, just the amount of guys that stepped up throughout the game. We can talk about the guys offensively, we can talk about the guys defensively, but those receivers, whether you're talking about JC, who had obviously a couple of huge catches in there, JJ had some big catches in there. I mean, the catch on the 4th down and 15 to tie it up 14 all. Josh Stewart had some really big catches throughout. Some poignant type catches in there. I thought Sam really showed big in the game and needed him to do that. So as Keelan went down, guys just continued to step up. We moved some receivers around and do some different things with them. And even with all of that, guys just continued to stay locked in and, had opportunities to make plays and went and made them.
Do you expect to have Keelan back this week?
I do.
I don't think we've ever asked you about JC. Tell us a little, or Juan Carlos, I don't know what you, tell us a little bit about kind of his story, what kind of kid he is, and then the kind of player he's becoming for you. Yeah,
he's a kid that has really kind of, in the last year and a half, has really kind of starting to blossom into his own. He's a kid from Katy. He's got really good speed. He's long for a receiver. He gets in and out of breaks. He's really learned how to run routes since getting here. And then I think his hands has been the biggest part of that, in my opinion. He's just become more consistent with that part of his game. He's a kid that's very competitive and has just been driven and just gotten better and better every week. Last year you saw some glimpses of what he could do at certain times throughout the year, but it wasn't consistent enough. And then this year, obviously, every week, I think his consistency, his confidence, the quarterback's confidence in him, all of that has kind of grown, and he continues to understand that he's still got a lot of growth left in him. He has not reached his potential yet, but he is staying after it. And I think those receivers as a group and a whole have really come together and really pushed each other to continue to raise their level of play. And I think that's the difference in us so far this year.
Philip, you were talking to Dan a little bit earlier about the story in relationship to the community. You guys want to be something positive for the community and the city. You had the hashtag 4-Hour City in the past. Things are still tough just about everywhere for a lot of reasons right now, and that certainly goes for Tulsa and even on your campus. Can you appreciate? I know you as a coach, you live in a box. You have the box with regard to controlling the program and keeping an eye on the pulse of the program. But can you appreciate what this season potentially means for your community, for your city, for your campus, to give people something positive to think about at a time where there's still a lot of issues to fight?
Yeah, I don't know that I can appreciate it yet. I don't know that our players can, just because we're not being able to interact like we normally would,
right,
on a daily basis with our community. We obviously are trying to do some things and still be a part of our community and be a bright kind of beacon of a light to show that. I think our kids really want to be that for our city. Yeah, we've had our struggles, and we've had our struggles as a program. We've had our struggles as a community. And I think as we continue to come together and continue to work towards our goals and our aspirations, I think, we can accomplish anything that we want to accomplish. And I think if nothing else, I'm hoping that our city will be able to really wrap their arms around this team and what they've been able to do, and really understand that, we are the University of Tulsa, and we are very proud of that and having it on the front of our jerseys and on our chests. So I hope they feel that from us, and will continue to feel that from us.
Are you getting, you say you might not be able to appreciate that until a certain point. Are you getting any sense of that at all, that it is resonating?
Yeah, I am. I mean, whether that's emails or whatever that people have sent, and phone calls up here to the office, you know, people have reached out and done that. And, you know, heck, I saw maybe for one of the first times I saw some Christmas lights in somebody's yard that had TU lit up. So, you know, that was encouraging to see and great to see. So, you know, just little things like that do carry a lot of weight, and we sure appreciate it.
Thanks.
Philip, do you remember how Zaven came to be on your radar and maybe the first time you saw him or became really aware of him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was in the spring and summer of his going into his senior year. You know, I had got the opportunity because, you know, my son was in high school at the same time. So, you know, to be able to go watch they call it passing league up here, but a 7-on-7 type deal, you know, I'm watching my son, obviously. You get an opportunity to see a lot more kids, and he was in a couple of those. You know, we ended up getting him to camp, and, you know, brought him to camp with the mindset of, hey, I know you're a quarterback, I know you're a free safety, but we just want to look at you at a couple of other spots while you're here at camp and put you through some drills. And, you know, at that point, he was probably a 6'3", maybe 6'4" kid weighing, I don't know, 210, 215. And ironically enough, I saw a picture the other day of when he was at camp and we offered him. And, you know, he got a real old long neck and, you know, just looks a lot different now. But, you know, he came to camp. Coach Gillespie and I were talking about it after, right as kind of the middle part of camp where we take a break and then again at the end. And both of us kind of took the mindset of, I mean, I don't know exactly what he's going to be, but he definitely is something. So we're going to throw this offer out here with the mindset of this is, and tell him exactly what we think. We're not recruiting you as a quarterback. This is what we're recruiting you as. This is what we think you can do. And just laid all the cards out in front of him and his mama. And luckily he jumped on.
His mom said that was really emotional for her when you guys extended that offer. I mean, when you see how much it means to them, I mean, what is that like for you?
It's one of the joys that we don't really get to talk about as much, you know, because you're going to be able to, hopefully you're giving a young man and his family an opportunity to change everything, right? By just coming to school here and getting an unbelievable degree and the doors that's going to open. No matter what happens with football, that part's going to change. And so she was real emotional. I remember her breaking down and crying, and, you know, I got to hug her neck because those were back before the virus days where you could actually hug people and it was fine. But it was an emotional day, and, you know, there was just something that you saw in Zaven and you saw in his family that you just knew he's going to be successful. And obviously he's surpassed that at this stage.
Anything else for Coach Montgomery? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe.